Boa tarde, gente, tudo bem? Bem-vindos a mais um Guide Your Future, nosso programa semanal sobre estudos no exterior. Hoje a gente vai conversar com a Mary Hess, que é a International Admissions Officer da Miami University. Apesar do nome, que pode enganar a gente um pouquinho, Miami University não fica na Flórida, ela fica em Ohio. E eu decidi convidá-los para participar dessa live com a gente, porque eles oferecem alguns programas muito bacanas, principalmente na área de diplomacia, de Global Studies. Eu sei que temos alguns alunos interessados aí nessa área, então eu resolvi convidar a Mary para falar um pouquinho sobre a universidade, sobre estudar em Ohio e para tirar as dúvidas de vocês sobre o processo de admissão. Tá joia? Então, se vocês tiverem alguma dúvida, alguma pergunta para fazer para ela, vocês podem escrever nos comentários aqui e no final da apresentação a gente vai responder para vocês. Tá bom? So, Mary, hello, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
How are you? Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be here today.
Yes.
I was just telling them that Miami University is not in Florida. That it's in Ohio, so feel free to start your presentation and tell us a little more about it.
Yes, definitely. That is a common misconception that we are located in Florida. So we are a little bit, further from the beach than you would be in Florida.
Definitely.
If you're in Florida, you'd be like within an hour. We're a little further than that, maybe a 10-hour drive, but today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Miami, where we're located, everything like that. So as she said, my name is Mary. I am the Assistant Director of International Admission here at Miami University. So here's where we are on the map. So we're located in Oxford, Ohio. So where that M is on the map is going to be where Oxford is located. So we're also not in Oxford, England. There's lots of different things that are duplicate. So we are in Ohio. The closest city to us is going to be Cincinnati, and then another city is going to be Dayton. So those are about a 40-minute drive to the airport. So there's an airport in both of those cities. But, the really great thing about coming to Ohio is you get to experience all 4 seasons. And you get to see our beautiful campus and all of them. So this is the winter, this is the springtime, the summertime, and the autumn. My favorite is the autumn when all the leaves are changing different colors. It's a really pretty time to be on campus. And our school year starts in August, the end of August. So the leaves will start changing in like September or October. So right after you get here, it's really, really pretty. Currently, we are about to enter spring. So we don't have any snow right now, which I'm excited about, but it is pretty to see if it's, your first time or things like that. So a little bit about our university and the students. We have almost 20,000 students at Miami, coming from 47 different states, 75 different countries. And out of those 20,000, about 2,000 of them are international students. So we do have a really good, international population coming from all over the world. Out of Latin America and South America, Brazil is our biggest that we have the most students from. So that's good. And then out of the 20,000, about 17,500 are going to be undergraduate students. So our focus at Miami is going to be on the undergraduate education. You're going to kind of hear that and see that throughout this presentation. And then, so you may or may not know, we're known as an original public Ivy. So what that kind of means is, I can give you a little bit of background. We are a public university. In the 1980s, there was a man who worked for Yale, and he was going around to different public universities in the US and seeing which ones kind of were similar to Ivy League schools, and Miami was one of them. There's only 8 in the US, so it's based on kind of like the type of education you're getting, the look and feel of the campus, and your interaction with professors and things like that. So the best way to kind of sum it up is you're getting a really good university experience comparable to an Ivy League, but at a public university price. So it's kind of cool. We're one of the original 8. I think it's a really cool distinction. We're proud of it. Another, like maybe you've heard of University of Wisconsin-Madison. They're another public Ivy. So yeah, there's 8 in the US. So it's kind of cool. And as you can see, the campus, when I first came here, I had not been to Miami before when I first started working here. And when I first drove here, I was like, oh my God, like this is gorgeous. It looks like a movie. I mean, I'm from the US and I've been to colleges in the US, but I'm like, this looks like what you see in the movies, like a typical American college. So it's really pretty. I just like walking around and taking it all in still. Yeah. So a little bit about student life. So coming to, college in the US, you're going to really, you're going to have your academic experience in the classroom, but you're also going to have that experience outside the classroom, living on campus. It's really going to be like your second home. So we have students living in the residence halls. They're required to live in the residence halls for the first 2 years on campus. And then after that, you can live off campus, kind of nearby within walking distance of campus. So we really have a really big, campus community. Even though there's 20,000 students, that sounds like a lot to me. But I actually see the same people walking around all the time. So it kind of gets smaller as you are here. So we have a code of love and honor. And it's kind of like a code that we live by. That's a picture of our student center where the code is written on the wall. It's part of our fight song. So if you go to an athletic event, you'll hear people, greeting each other with it, singing the song. But it's also kind of, a way that we live and we, embrace everyone and uplift everyone's ideas. So we like to say that Miami is a family. So living by the code of honor, makes you part of the Miami family. So that's a little bit about that. So where are you going to be living? So a little bit more about Ohio and Oxford specifically. We actually were just ranked number 3 for college towns in the United States. So that's really cool. It's really an ideal place for you to come to college, especially, if, you're only 17 or 18 and, you're leaving home for the first time, because the town is really the university. So Oxford is really, it's a college town. About 30,000 people live in the town during the school year. During the summertime, there's only 10,000 people that live here. All the students go home for the most part. We do have international students that definitely stay for the summer. And I live here, so I'll be here. But so it's really like everything's pretty much walkable from campus. Everything that you need to get to, like the pharmacy, the grocery store, we call it Uptown. Which there's a picture of that right there. So it has like the coffee shops, the restaurants, like little boutiques and things like that. So it's, everything that you kind of need is like within a 5 to 10 minute walk. We have like a farmer's market every Saturday morning, which is really fun. You'll see professors and students, people bring their dogs, things like that. And then a little bit about this quote. So I remember when I first came here, I drove here. My family lives about 4 hours away, and I took the motorway, and then we get off the motorway and you drive 30 minutes on these country roads, and I'm like, am I lost? Like, where am I? And then you get here and it pops up, and I'm like, this is like a movie. So it's we say not all roads lead here, but once you get here, you really don't want to leave because you have everything you need, and it's perfect for studying and all those kinds of things, and being able to, access things really easily. So a little bit about athletics. We do have Division I athletics here. So, you can attend any athletic event free of charge with your student ID. We also participate in the National Collegiate Hockey Conference. I had never been to a hockey game until I started working here, but they're a lot of fun. Students like to go to them. They I don't know. I went for the first time a month ago, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. So a lot of people like to go to those. The football, the American football games, field hockey, track, tennis, but we have 18 different teams. And then we also have over 50 club sports teams. So let's say you're interested in playing, but you don't want to play at that Division I level, but you still want to compete against other schools. You can be involved in one of the club sports teams. And then we also have,
I know we have some athletes, some students interested in athletics.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's something for everyone with those. Since we have over 50, we have one of like the best club sports programs in the country, and it's cool because you wear the Miami uniform and you compete against other schools, but it's not as intense as that Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do have intramural as well. So if you're more like friendly competition, just want like for exercise and like, for socialization, we have over 600 intramural teams. A couple of students that I work with that are current students, the one student's on like 3 intramural teams. He's like, I have practice, I have games, I don't have time for anything else besides his intramural. So they can be involved. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty active campus, like our rec center. We have multiple rec centers. Sometimes the president will actually he likes to ride his bicycle around. Him and his wife will have like fitness classes in their front yard sometimes, which is cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, they have these 2 golden retrievers that this really has nothing to do, but they'll bring them.
Who doesn't love them?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Anytime we have events, like they'll walk them and students are always going up to them. So if you go to the fitness class at their house, you'll probably meet the dogs. Yeah. And then so maybe sports is not your thing. We have 600 other student organizations that you can get involved in. So lots to do outside the classroom. There's things that are cultural based, hobby based, religious based. Really anything you can think of. Like, I know we have like a squirrel watching club. Like, it's very, like anything you can think of, we have. And if not, you can create it yourself. So that's maybe why we have so many, because people will create their own things. But definitely lots to get involved in. During the first weekend, when you first get here after orientation, they'll have a big mega fair, which is what's in the picture, and you'll get a chance to go around and meet all of the different student organizations and see what you want to be involved in. So, while you're here, you're going to really have everything you need to succeed, and you'll realize this is where you need to be. So I'm about to switch gears a little bit and talk about academics now. So we actually recently developed 30 combined bachelor's and master's degree programs. So that means that you can get a bachelor's and a master's within five years or less. Traditionally in the US, you would do 4-year bachelor and then 2-year master's. So some people are graduating with a bachelor's and a master's in 4 years, which is a really good deal because if you get a scholarship, it applies for all 4 years. So that's definitely something to consider. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying just definitely it's a very interesting opportunity to have both degrees in such a short time.
Definitely. I'm not sure if the diplomacy is one of them. That's what I was going to say, but I can look into that and let you know. But definitely something to take advantage of, whether you're an international or a domestic student. It's a good deal. For sure. Yeah. And then maybe you don't want to do that. You can get 2 degrees. So in the US, you can double major. So you could have 2 different majors. So for example, when I was in university, I did a degree in marketing and in Spanish. So I was able to get 2 degrees in the 4 years. And then I wanted to do something international related. So I was able to get a job in that. But you could do, anything. It doesn't have to be related. Like I've had students they really want to major in theater, but their parents want them to major in business. So they'll do a double major and then they can get the best of both worlds. Or they'll do, a minor in one of them, which is kind of like a mini major. It's less classes. It's more of like a certification. So it's definitely flexible here. A lot of other countries, you decide what you're going to do and then that's it. Here, I think 80% of our students change their major at one point. So it's not concrete.
Yeah, I think this is a big advantage of the U.S. curriculum, the liberal arts curriculum, that allows them to change their minds and change programs, change their path, because that's not something we have here in Brazil.
Yeah, I think it is an advantage, and it definitely makes a big difference. It's hard to decide what you want to do when you're 16, 17, 18.
Exactly. Not many of them are completely sure of what they want. So having this option and knowing that they can change their mind is a huge help.
Definitely. It definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So another thing that you can get involved in at Miami, which is really cool, well as you can do undergraduate research. So I would highly recommend taking advantage of that because you're going to get to be on a research team with mostly undergraduate students. Usually there's like 1 or 2 graduate students and then the professor. So this is going to help you stand out, whether you're, you just want to get the bachelor's and look for a job, or you want to, get a master's or a PhD or another degree. It's definitely going to look really good on your CV or your resume. Mm-hmm. We also, coming to the U.S., you would be studying abroad, which you could study abroad again if you want to in another country. We have like over hundreds of different programs in over 90 different countries where you can go. You could do a few weeks, you could do a semester, you could do a whole year, you could do a summer, whatever you kind of want to do. And you could go, independently by yourself. You could go with a professor. Sometimes like you'll take a class in our spring semester and then you'll go somewhere for like 2 weeks to do like, that international field work once you get there. So lots of opportunities for that. We also have a satellite campus in Luxembourg. So Miami professors go there like each semester. They teach classes. So you'd be there with other Miami students. You would pay your same Miami tuition. You're just in a chateau taking classes, about an hour train ride from 9 different European countries. So that's also something to take advantage of. I think that, my next job might be on the Luxembourg campus. It's beautiful. And about, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Doesn't it? I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I get to go there for something? Students really enjoy that. And about 50% of our students do some kind of study abroad. So there's definitely, an interest for that. And we're glad that students are taking advantage of that. We also have lots of internship opportunities. So, last year, I think there were almost 11,000 students that participated in an internship. And these internships could be, right in Oxford. They could be somewhere else in Ohio. They could be in a different state. We've had people do internships internationally, remote internships now. So lots of flexibility and definitely something to take advantage of. One of my students, he's from Rwanda, and he's actually interning at Tesla in California right now. Yeah, I'm very impressed with him. He's always like, stop. I'm like, look at you. You're doing so well. And he's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, okay, you're like a mechanical engineer at Tesla. But okay.
Not a big
so yeah. Really good opportunities, and Miami wants to help, connect you with those. We also have, I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but our career services office, we have somebody in there who's a global career advisor. So her job is solely to work with international students, helping them with like career readiness, resume, interview, CV, and then students who are interested in working abroad. So she's like able to help you with if you want to stay in the US and work, do an internship or work, or if you want to go back home. She's well versed in both things, and she was actually an international student herself a few years ago, so she really knows the ins and outs and what it's like. So she's great, Anastasia. So yeah, and we really want to help boost your leadership potential through those internships, through all those experiences. So a little bit more now, I'm going to talk about like our liberal arts curriculum. So it's definitely, a broad education. So you're going to get prepared, for multiple things, because let's say you're going to study mathematics. We have it's called the Global Miami Plan. So you'll take classes in mathematics, obviously, but you'll also take things in psychology, sociology, a foreign language, science. So you're well-rounded and really prepared for the future. And that's, everyone at Miami does take part in that Global Miami Plan, and it really helps you become well-rounded and, really educated in a variety of different things. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about all of the different majors we have. So we do have 120 different majors. So I'm not going to be able to talk about all of them, or we'd be here till tomorrow. But I'm going to go over a little bit. We have like 5 different academic divisions. So first is the College of Arts and Science. So this is going to be majors like anthropology, biology, chemistry, math, like the traditional academic majors if you wanted to study English, Spanish, French, a foreign language. I believe that the diplomacy and global politics is also part of the College of Arts and Science. That's in like our sociology and international department. So we like to call that our A to Z major. It really has kind of everything. Next is our Farmer School of Business. So we're actually ranked in the top 20 public business schools in the nation. We have the top 4 accounting firms all have offices in the Farmer School of Business. And then we have people who work at Fortune 500 companies and startups coming in and like doing client-based projects with the students and then kind of recruiting them to work at their companies. So definitely, if you're interested in business, marketing, management, accounting, finance, all of those are going to be in the Farmer School of Business and really good opportunities for you. Next is our College of Education, Health, and Society. So if you're interested in any kind of teaching or like helping profession, nutrition, kinesiology, dietetics, maybe you want to go on and do physical therapy or occupational therapy, it would be through there. And then society is going to be family science, social work. One of our new majors, which is called Sports Leadership and Management, or SLAM, what it's we shortened it to that. That's been really, really popular if you're interested in like the business side of the sports industry. So like if maybe you want to work in like sales for athletics or like coaching, things like that. It's really cool. We actually had one of the professors come in and talk to us about it. So it's something to pursue if that's an area of interest for you. And then our College of Engineering and Computing. So we have multiple engineering programs, biomedical engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, manufacturing engineering, computer engineering, computer science as well. That was just ranked in the top 10 in the US. So we're proud of that. We do have a lot of international students that do study some form of engineering or computer science. It tends to be popular with international students. And then finally, our College of Creative Arts. So this is going to be like theater, music, our dance minor, our fashion co-major, all of those kinds of things, as well as our architecture program. That's a really popular program, and it's competitive to get into, but it's well known, and we do have a master's in architecture as well. So that is definitely a good one. And then we have it's similar to graphic design. It's called emerging technology business development. So that's really popular too. People who are interested in like graphic design and like that kind of thing and the digital things. And that's a really good major as well. So that's a little overview of what we have to offer. There's more in-depth information on our website. There's a list of every single major and you can click and read about all of them. But if you have questions, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our different honors opportunities. So we have 3 different honors opportunities, and these are really a good way to like enhance your education at Miami. So you'll be able to take, if you do the honors college, you would take honors level courses. And typically this means you're going to be in a smaller class size where you're going to get more one-on-one time with your professor and your classmates. You're also going to get to live in the residential honors college dormitory, which is super nice. I feel like it looks like a resort. There's like a pond in the back. I went in to help someone move in and I'm like, wow, this is really nice. One of our international students. And then, so that's, a really good program. And that's all 4 years, the honors college. The Prodesse Scholars Program is for your first year, and it's for students who are really interested in like one specific area and kind of interested in research. You'll participate in the program for your first year. It does offer an additional $1,000 to $2,000 scholarship, and that scholarship goes for all 4 years, but you're really participating in the activities during your first year. It is pretty intense during that first year, but you're getting to network, you're getting one-on-one time with professors, exclusive research opportunities. So definitely something to consider. And then our Presidential Fellows Program, which is our, premier scholarship program. So this is going to be a full ride, a full cost of attendance scholarship. It's given to 15 students each year. So it is very competitive.
Super competitive.
Yes. And typically like 15 total and usually 2 are international. So it is competitive, but If you're applying to our honors college or the Prodesse Scholars, I would recommend applying to the Presidential Fellows as well. It's one separate application for all three. So why not? And it's one essay for all three. Yeah, we're actually reviewing our current ones for next year right now. So we'll be announcing the winners soon. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And then as I kind of mentioned, our focus is on undergraduate teaching. So we've been, ranked top 10 public universities for undergraduate teaching for over 10 years by U.S. News and World Report. Professors are coming here because they want to work with you. They want to be in the classroom with you. It's very rare that you would have like a teaching assistant teacher class. It's going to be a full professor. And the professors here, they have office hours. They want you to come to them. They want you to ask questions. And once you're in your major, there's about 30 students in an average classroom, which I think is pretty good considering we have almost 20,000 students on campus. And then our faculty to student ratio is about 1 student to 17. Nope. 1 faculty member to 17 students. I always do that backwards. So a little bit about our resources that we offer to students. So international student and scholar services, definitely something you should take advantage of. Pretty much most schools are going to have this because they're really there to support international students. They're the ones who are going to pick you up from the airport, get you acclimated through international student orientation, walk you around campus, help you with any kind of visa, immigration advising issues. They plan like different programs. They have a new international student center. So it's kind of a lounge for international students where they can kind of hang out, have meetings, all kinds of things. But they plan off-campus trips, like they'll go to, we have a market, it's about a half hour away, it's called Jungle Gyms, and they have like international foods. So each aisle has a different country. I love going there. So they'll do that kind of stuff. We have our writing center, which is open to any student to come and get, a paper proofread or anything like that. And then we have our Center for Career Exploration and Success, which I did mention before, about the career advising, one-on-one things, all of those things. Definitely something to take advantage of. And then international student orientation is really going to help you get acclimated. You come to the airport in Cincinnati, they pick you up. All the new international students come in together on a bus to Miami. It's a whole week of events, and you'll get help with academic things. They'll show you where everything is. They take you to Walmart to go shopping. They take you to the big mall. So it's a lot of fun. And then we have our student health services. All international students are automatically enrolled in our health insurance. So you'll, be able to access health care on campus. So, now we're going to talk a little bit about the return on investment of a Miami degree. About 96% of our students who graduated last year are either employed full-time or they are getting an advanced degree. So we feel like that's a really good number, especially, with the pandemic and everything going on, to see that almost 100% of our students are, successful after graduating.
That's great. Great number.
Yeah, definitely. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the value of a U.S. degree. I'm sure that you've probably talked with them about this already, but I'll give my take on this too.
Please do.
Yeah. So I think that, no matter where you are, getting a degree from the U.S. or getting a degree internationally is really going to help you stand out. Employers today, whether you want to, stay in the U.S. when you're done and work here, or you want to go back home, or you want to go somewhere else, employers are looking for multilingual problem solvers. So being able to, perfect your English, most of you probably speak really well, probably maybe better than me. We'll see.
No, that's good.
Presentation. So so definitely it's going to help you. You're going to be thinking critically in another language. You're going to be around English speakers. You're going to really immerse yourself in that and perfect those skills. And being able to, in any industry, be able to speak multiple languages is going to help make you more marketable and an asset to any employer. And then also, employers are looking for people with international experience by going abroad. getting a degree in a completely different education system, a completely different country, leaving everything that you're used to is going to show that you're willing to take a risk, that you are interested in like diversity, learning about different types of people. They're going to feel like they can send you on that, that trip, or put you in that room with people you don't know, people who are different from you, how to work in a team, all of those kinds of things. I know personally, I did a couple shorter term study abroad experiences, but that was always something that employers were impressed with. They felt like, oh, wow, you took that risk and you did that. It's definitely going to, pay off.
It makes a difference. Yeah.
It does. It really helps you stand out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's a little bit about the value of getting a degree in the US and, the flexibility and all the opportunities that are here. Where we're located, you're not too far from a lot of different like Fortune 500 companies, all kinds of different resources and things like that. So where can you go with a Miami degree? Literally anywhere you want. We have over 220,000 alumni living all over the world. Those are some of the cities they live in, but we really have people all over.
Yeah, I can see São Paulo there.
Yeah, I was just going to say right there. Yeah. And then, so now a little bit about, finding your perfect fit. This process is definitely about you and making sure where you choose is going to be the right fit for you. So finances, definitely do play a role in that. So I can share a little bit about that. So our tuition, fees, housing, meals, all the expenses wrapped up together per year is about 58,000 US dollars. Now, this is before any kind of scholarships are applied or any kind of aid. So 80% of our students, 79, last year received some kind of merit scholarship. So this price is, not going to be the price you're going to pay, likely. So I can kind of break that down about the different scholarships that we have so you have an idea. So what's really nice, these first two scholarships, the International Education Scholarship and our University Merit Scholarships, you are going to be automatically considered for these when you apply. You don't have to do anything extra besides submit your application. So you got two scholarship options already. And then we have two others that are going to be, a little more competitive, and you will have to submit a separate essay. So the Presidential Fellows, which I talked about before, is that full cost of attendance for all 4 years, and you get a $5,000 academic enrichment stipend. So definitely something to consider. And then the You Are Welcome Here scholarship. Some other schools in the US also do have this too. And it's going to be, you're going to write an essay kind of about, I believe it's about like leadership and internationalizing campus. You could also submit a video. Those are a lot of fun to watch, the different entries. So you'll submit that, and that can cover up to 50% of the cost of tuition. So the International Education Scholarship, the Merit Scholarship, and the You Are Welcome Here scholarship, you could potentially get all three of those together. It's just the Presidential Fellows, it's on its own. So definitely we do, award scholarships, and we think that's really important. Here's kind of an idea of, we convert everyone's GPA. So this isn't going to be the same as, yours. You're probably getting something out of 10, I believe. Yeah, so it's going to not be the same, but we have multiple applicants from Brazil. So we know what your curriculum's like, and then things like that. Do they take IB classes?
Yes, they do. I was about to say that. How does the IB benefit them? Does that make them stand out in any way?
Definitely. I was going to say, yes. So taking the IB classes is going to give them like bonus points, if you will, especially like the higher level courses. We kind of consider those almost like AP classes, which are mainly in the US. So that's definitely going to, help you stand out and help boost your chances to get in and for a scholarship as well.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And then if they take IB English A, then we would waive the proof of English proficiency for them.
We actually have English B higher level, so I guess Yeah, they will still have to take it. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Well, if they do, yeah, you'll have to take either. I'll go into that, but I'll go through the checklist here.
Okay.
So we're on the common application, which maybe you're familiar with.
Yes.
And then,
most of us are.
I was going to say, yeah, if you're applying to multiple schools in the U.S., then I would recommend filling out the common application because you're answering a lot of the same questions.
Yeah.
And then you can just choose the schools.
You'll answer them just once.
Exactly. Or we have our Miami international application. So if you're like, wow, I really liked that, Mary, I'm going to only apply to Miami, then you can use that application. It is a little bit faster. It doesn't require an essay or letters of recommendation. But if you're applying to multiple schools in the U.S., then I would do the Common App. And then, so we do require the proof of English proficiency. So either TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. Any of the three, we don't have a preference. Duolingo seems to be very popular because it's the most inexpensive option right now.
Yes, and they have the fastest, results. They come faster than the others.
Definitely. So definitely something to consider. And then we'll need your transcripts, from your counselor. And then once you're admitted, we do require a financial support form and financial verification. So I can explain this a little. You will have to show proof of funding for your first year at Miami. So let's say, it's $58,000 and you get a $23,000 scholarship. So then you just have to show $32,000 available. I did my math correctly. I think so. So yes, you'll have to show, you don't have to show the full amount. You just have to show, what's left after you've been awarded a scholarship. And that'll be, whoever's sponsoring your education, whether it's your family, whoever is. And then we'll need a copy of your passport as well. So once, you've been admitted, we have those items, then we'll issue you something called an I-20, which you will, we'll send it to you in the mail. It'll be signed probably by me. And then you will take it and you'll book your visa appointment for your visa interview. So you can get that taken care of. And then, so these are our application deadlines. However, for the fall semester starts the end of August 2022. I'm not sure if students would be ready by then. That application deadline has been extended to April 1st. So if you are interested, you can still apply for that, and you can still be considered for our merit scholarship and our international education scholarship.
For the fall 2022?
Yes.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, it was originally March 1 was the deadline, but we just extended it to April 1. So there's still an opportunity.
Good to know.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know some of the other schools, the deadlines have passed. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's been extended, but it's not super on the website. So you kind of have to look for it. But yeah, definitely. Still welcome to apply. And then you would have until May 1st to confirm you're going to enroll here. That's our national decision or confirmation deadline. If you're interested in coming the following year, so August 2023, the application for that would open August 1st. And then you'd be eligible for the presidential fellows and the You Are Welcome here as well.
Great.
And then just a little bit about our admission review process. So we have a holistic review. So it's holistic and contextual. We're not okay, you got, all 10s or all 9s. If you don't have that, you're not in. That's not how it is. We look at everything overall, especially the IB curriculum is definitely going to help you. And we understand how challenging and rigorous those courses are, definitely. So that we take that into account. So the kind of courses you're taking, the school you go to, in the context of that, as well as, the results that you achieve. And then, we do require the proof of English proficiency. So for this year, and we just announced for 2023, we are test optional. So we do not require the SAT or ACT.
I was going to ask you that.
Yes. If you have it and you would like to submit it for 2022, it's not going to hurt you. Like it can only help you. For 2023, if you do submit it, I guess we'll take it into account.
Yeah.
We
are actually a test center for SAT, so it's easier for them to check it here. Yeah.
Definitely. I was going to say as well, if you get a 550 or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing, then you don't need to take the TOEFL or the Duolingo.
Oh, that's important information.
Yeah, so a lot of students are able to use the SAT score to waive the English proficiency. So definitely an option for you, especially if you're going to take the test right there. Cool. Awesome. And then for our Farmer School of Business and the College of Creative Arts, those are going to be, you'll have divisional consideration. So we'll review your application for admission, and then we'll send it to those two departments, and then they will review you. With the Farmer School of Business, they're kind of looking at like what kind of courses you took in your grades and academics. And then for the College of Creative Arts, sometimes you need to submit a portfolio or do an audition depending on what your major is going to be. And then, so a little bit about, the tuition, a little bit more. We have something called the tuition promise. So what this means is that $58,000 price that you saw will be the same for all 4 years. We don't raise the cost of tuition or fees or anything, which is nice because sometimes like they're like, this is the price. And then the next year it's like $2,000 more. Yeah. So it'll be the same for all 4 years. And then your scholarship that you receive is renewable for all 4 years as well. So you kind of get an idea of what it's going to cost you when you get that initial admission letter and information. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And then you can kind of plan ahead. You like, this is how much it's going to be. And you have it ready to go and
Yeah, especially now with the economy not going that well. Many families are struggling to afford, studies for their kids to study abroad, to go to the U.S. So that's a great thing to know. I think it helps.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so it is good. And then, so really there's no limit to like what you can do with a Miami degree. As you can see, you can really kind of go anywhere and really be anything that you want to be. So that kind of concludes my presentation portion. So if you have any questions, obviously you can ask them now, but after, if you think of something, you can definitely email us or you can contact us on WhatsApp. I'm the one who primarily answers those messages on there. So you can contact us anytime and we'll get back with you on there as well.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See if you guys have any questions for Mary. Please, you can type it here in the comment section and we'll answer it. Meanwhile, can we talk a little bit more about ID? Which is always, this is a very common question. Do you have a minimum overall score that you take into account when evaluating an application, or do you have like specific ID requirements for specific programs like engineering? I know some universities have specific requirements for those programs. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so actually we don't have a minimum requirement, which is nice. And we also, we don't have any specific requirements for any of the programs. I do think if you are going to do like business, they do take into consideration what courses you take, like if you took like the management or the accounting, but there's not, there aren't any hard and fast requirements, which is kind of nice.
It is, because sometimes the school doesn't offer a certain specific ID course, and students are always worried and afraid that it's going to hurt their chances. So that's not the case for Miami.
No. And then typically students will get credit for some of those classes.
Yeah.
College credit, which is really nice as well. That'll definitely save you some money and time.
Yes. That's good to know. And what are your most popular programs?
Ooh, I would say the business programs, like the accounting, the marketing. I would also say computer science is really popular. The international studies is popular. The diplomacy, political science. Students get like really good internships going to like Washington D.C. and getting to do. They have
Yeah, I
like
know for a fact that we have some students in 11th and 12th grade now who are interested specifically in international relations and diplomacy. So, what can you tell us about those programs? I know, for instance, here in Brazil, it's harder to find an international relations program that's more that leans toward diplomacy.
okay.
It's not something so common to find here. We don't have that many options, so it was a good surprise when I saw that program on your website, and I could tell our students about that. What can you tell us? Do you know anything specific about that program?
Yeah, so a little bit. I know a little bit. I know a little bit about a lot of things. That's what I like to say. So I do know that it's a really good program. I believe it's part of the like sociology and political science departments. So you're getting kind of like you're taking like psychology and like sociology courses as well as the political science. So I think you're getting like a really well rounded because you have to like understand people obviously to
Yeah.
to be a diplomat and to work in like foreign affairs, government, things like that. So it's a really good program. I've heard a lot of success stories. I was on their website kind of just like looking through
Mhm.
like alumni, and they've had people like go on to really big careers. We had somebody, he was from, I think he was from Ohio, but he was on the football team here, and everybody's like, oh, he's just going there to play football, and now he's like working for like the foreign service. So like people definitely are, it's a good program, and they really do push that internship, and
Mhm.
especially like the study away thing, like where you would, it's because you're not going abroad, you're just going away. So like
Yeah.
going to Washington D.C. or even like working for the Ohio governor. The Ohio governor went to Miami, which is kind of cool. So
Cool.
yeah, so definitely a good program, and we have a lot of students that do well and are successful. Some have
Mhm.
gone to work for like the FBI or things like that.
Wow, that's so cool.
That would be a cool career.
Yeah, that's an interesting career to say the least.
Definitely.
How about your test optional policy? We always advise students to take the SAT either way, even if it's optional, because as international students, we consider that it could be best for them to have a score that's internationally recognized and that U.S. universities can compare with the domestic students. So, do you know your SAT score range for the last class you've had? Do you have any sort of idea for us? I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I think I accidentally muted myself. Let me, I can look it up because 1 second.
no problem.
I should know off the top of my head. I feel like, let's see, 1310.
1310. Okay.
Yes. I was like,
That's
that's
okay.
what I thought it was, but then I was like, is that right? Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the average. Um,
No, that's good to know. To give our students some sort of parameter for
yes.
what they should be looking for. We offer SAT twice a year for our students at Positivo.
Okay.
And we also have a prep course for them. So we always feel that if they take the SAT, they have a better chance, even if it's optional.
Definitely. And it really, this year for the 2022, like it can't hurt them. It can only help them.
Yeah, you mentioned you don't require letters of recommendation or personal essays either.
So if you do the Common App, you'll have to have a
Yeah,
letter.
yeah.
But if you do the international application, you don't have to. A lot of times, though, people will do the international application and then they'll have their counselor or whoever submit the letter of recommendation, and still do an essay because it can kind of enhance your application.
Yes, yeah. It will give you a chance to know the students a bit better, right?
Yeah, I love
That,
writing essays. I enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah, I do too. I do too. To learn a little bit about their stories and their passions and their interests. It's always something interesting. So it's basically more the academic. You look at their scores, at the whole package, let's say. Uh,
Yes.
what about extracurriculars? That's always a big issue. We don't usually, Brazilian universities never take that into account.
So
Uh,
yeah, with our domestic students, we do look at that. The international, like, if you do things, that's great, but we don't there's no we don't hold that
mhm.
against you, because most other countries don't. That's not a big thing. Like, they're going to school, they're
Exactly.
studying, and that's the
Exactly.
focus. I was just talking to a parent on the phone today, an American parent, and he was like, when I went to school, we didn't have to run our own company and do all these things like the students do today. And I was like, it is. But for international students, if you were involved in something, or you held a part-time job or something, we think that's interesting and cool, but we're not like, oh,
Okay, that's not
do
going to
that.
be held against them if they don't.
No.
Okay, that's cool. That's a big relief for our students because they're always worried about the extracurriculars.
Yeah.
They're always like, exactly, because this is not something we're used to here in Brazil. They don't know where to start with. What counts as an extracurricular? So this is great news. I'm sure they're going to be happy to hear that.
Definitely. Yes.
Okay, so you talked a little about financial aid, so I think that's covered. They're always asking about scholarships, financial aid, so I think it's a good opportunity as well, even with a scholarship. I
Yeah.
know it's the more competitive one, obviously, but it's an opportunity for those who want to. Uh, well, we haven't had any questions so far. Students are usually shy to ask the questions, but if you guys don't have any questions, so I guess that's it. Thank you so much, Mary, for being here with us, for joining me to talk to our students. It was really nice meeting you, and I hope we have some students interested in Miami.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. And if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to email me and contact me on WhatsApp. I answer those Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll do video chats with students on WhatsApp. It's very
Okay.
if you want something informal, or you just want to ask me a couple questions,
Oh,
or
that's great.
yeah, it's nice. And then they can get a quick answer. And I have a application workshop that I do every Friday.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
virtual, obviously. So it's through Zoom, and I pretty much walk you through the whole application process. So if that's something you're interested in too, definitely recommend
That's
attending.
great. Yes, I will definitely advertise that to our students if they're interested, especially our seniors. Obviously, they're closer to their application season. So we'll keep in touch.
Definitely.
And if you guys have any questions, you can contact me as well. You know where my office is. So you can come talk to me or talk to Mary and we'll ask your questions. We'll be happy to. So Mary, thank you so much once again. We hope to see you soon. Maybe you can
Yes.
come visit us.
I hope so. That would be ideal. That would be a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.